IE.
Actually Evelyn, but no one calls me that.
How old are you?
23.
What did you do back in Troy?
I was working I was working underneath a journalist, so I was working for a local newspaper because I wanted to be a journalist or a newsreader.
Where were you in the city then?
Yeah.
How did that affect you during the war?
I loved it because, especially in the newsroom, there was always a buzz. There was always something happening. It was horrible when the Greeks came and did stuff, obviously, but I kind of felt like I was in something, that things were happening.
During the war, you mean?
Yeah, I only saw a few buildings crumble at first, and you kind of just get used to it. Like sirens and people shouting and gunshots, kind of.
Where would you live? Where would you go home to?
My parents lived on the outskirts of Troy, so they lived quite close to the centre, but in a little town on the outskirts.
Was it affected?
It was, yeah, but not as much. And I had a lot of friends there. Like one of my friends worked in a pub, and and she said they weren't as affected there. But I had it was tiny little apartment in the city, so it was really small, like enough room for a bed and a cooker.
Do you live by yourself?
Yeah.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah. I was engaged, but he came from that town as well, so we'd known each other since we were like 5. But he worked in the city too, in one of the bank buildings. I don't really know what he did. I don't remember.
Did he die? What was his name?
Jack.
So how did the war affect your work?
It gave us a lot to do with headlines. It made me learn things quite quickly because it was really fast paced. There was never a slow news day. There was always something. And sometimes you'd have your front page story and then you were about to go to print and something would happen that had to go on the front page. But I wasn't one of the main journalists. I was just kind of an assistant, really. But it was really exciting.
What was the moment or the catalyst when it took hold of your